Quiet Fire 88.5 2 Triple R. You can find out more on my Instagram at Quiet Fire Radio. Love is Blind there from the Fever Pitch. In the studio now, though, we've got aforementioned band, the Fever Pitch. We've got Pete and Frasier here. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for coming into the studio. How are you today?
We are awesome. Thank you for having us.
That is okay. That is okay. So, what's on for the weekend? Tell me a little bit about what's coming up.
Well, surprise, surprise, we're going to be at the Botany View Hotel tomorrow night.
Excellent, excellent. So if you can't make it tonight, you can head along. Guys, it's the new, it's not that new. When was the EP released? December, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's It's very much a throwback record as well. Was it as fun to record it as it sounds to listen to it?
It was great. It took a while. We did it all at my place in my studio downstairs, and it depended on all of us being able to get there in dribs and drabs, so probably about a year and a half all up.
Year and a half, yeah, absolutely. I mean, these things do take a long time, and but that's okay. Is it coming out physically, or is it just a digital release?
Yeah, we've got one here.
Ah, yeah. Very cool. That's very nice of you. Thank you so much.
Out of the back pocket.
Now, one of the things that I noticed listening to it was the themes that run through it. There's sort of this sort of jovial sense of throwaway love throughout it, which with songs like Love is Blind, Don't Mean Nothing to Me, Mr. Right Tonight. Where do those themes come from?
Well, Kyle, our front man, is the main singer, and he and I write the songs. He writes half of them and I write half of them. I can't speak for him, but he said that he just makes the words rhyme. I think it's a cop-out, but I think he's great at it. Terrific songwriter.
So there's no doubt that he was Mr. Right Tonight one day back in his heyday or anything like that. Was it a semi-autobiographical?
Oh, look, I think what you miss from the recording that you get when you see us live is how tongue-in-cheek the song is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he will end the song saying false advertising or something like that. He's a sweet guy, but I don't think he really thinks much of his...
the lyrics aren't given too much thought.
Mr. Right Tonight.
Oh, he gives it a lot of thought.
Yeah.
But,
absolutely.
But it's not a
it's
love
very self-deprecating.
Yeah, right.
The Aussie
okay.
Humour kind of.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. So, what's your musical backgrounds, guys? Where did you start singing? And in your
in my youth, I was singing. I started lessons doing opera, funnily enough, and then I spent many years recording pop R&B demos with various producers, and I was in a jazz band, a blues band, that kind of thing, and then I joined a gospel choir, the Cafe of the Gate of Salvation, and I was in that choir for 9 years.
Yeah, right.
And that's really where I found my voice, because we sang so much. We rehearsed every week, and we did a lot of gigs, and I had a lot of solo songs, and I really found my sort of soulful voice in that group. And then I joined the Fever Pitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a recording studio for 15 years, and Kyle, our lead singer, came to the studio with a couple of different outfits, and I recorded him a few times. And that was how it came to be. We became friends, and I was talking to him about soul music, which is essentially the genre that we're from. 60s and 70s kind of soul. Stax, as in Memphis.
Stax Records, yeah.
Stax Records, yeah. And I said I'd love to start a band in that kind of genre, and he was totally up for it, and that's why we're here now.
Yeah, it's very cool. I love that it's got the throwback, but I love that there's still an Australiana element about it. It's not just a throwaway tribute band. Is it? Do you guys feel that as well? Yeah. I guess in the lyrics and the way the band plays as well and everything like that.
Hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a very brave thing to do, to put together a how many people in the band? 8 person band in 2020. How does touring go for you guys?
Oh, we don't.
It's hard. It's like herding cats. It is hard to get us all in the same room together.
Yeah, we'll go away for a festival weekend, and rent a house. That's great fun. But everyone makes their own way there and their own way home.
Yeah, we don't have a bus.
It was not a bus. And we do it for fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, fun's a good motivator.
Absolutely.
What about I think I have written a bunch of questions here about directed more at the lyricist, because I was talking about Rude to a Point. What is the story? But do you know this? Is there a story behind that one?
Not really. I mean, I did message Kyle and I asked him. He said he's had his love thrown away quite a lot. So I think he's had his heart broken a few times. And,
yeah, right.
So I'm not sure quite where he was at when he wrote that, but when I sing it, I'm feeling like it's quite a empowering song for a woman to sing. It's like, I like to think for myself, don't point your finger at me. It's a very strong, powerful song.
Yeah, that's right. Because of course the person who the singer imparts their own meaning on it. Of course, I mean, was it who very famous? Who was the? Was it Nina Simone did a cover of "It's a Man's World"? Very famously, totally changed the meaning of the song altogether from how it was originally done. Who were some of the Stax acts that really grabbed you guys early on? Is there particular bands on that label that you were obsessed with?
Otis Redding.
Otis is the one. Yeah. Otis is probably one of the big ones that you hear throughout you guys' music.
Yeah, I think so. Booker T and the MGs, Sam and Dave.
Yeah.
A lot of people went through Stax, and the rhythm section there was particularly famous. And Donald Duck Dunn was the bass player, and I really liked Duck Dunn on the bass.
What a cool name.
So I play the bass in the band.
That's very cool.
I'm a guitar player, but I play the bass in this band because I've always wanted to try that thing, and it's fun.
You do it very well.
Thank you.
Where have the other musicians come from? Has everyone sort of come from diverse backgrounds as well?
Yeah, there's punk and there's lots of jazz. The horn players have played a lot of jazz and been around a long time and all over the place. I think Joe's a rock and roller, our guitar player. Perry's pretty eclectic and loves electronic music, and probably writes in that genre. And I'm a guitar playing, folky, rocky guy.
Yeah, right. And because I did have a look at the Spotify playlist that you guys put together as well, which was really cool. It had like Bobby Gentry, is like, we're a big fan of here on the show. Lots of different people. It was very, very.
So that was put together by a few of us in the band. I put my favourite songs down, and Frasier did, and Kyle did. Yeah. So that will be eclectic with all of the different tastes.
Absolutely. So I think just for the moment, whilst I just recollect my questions, we're going to cut to Mr. Right Tonight, which is going out to Kyle,
yes,
the singer. Shout out to you, Kyle.
You are Mr. Right Tonight.
I'm going to assume that you were Mr. Right Tonight many times. 2RRR 88.5. This is Quiet Fire, Friday afternoon, very wet and miserable in Sydney. But if you want to turn that around, you can get yourself to the Botany View Hotel this weekend and see the incredible Fever Pitch. What an incredibly sultry, beautiful boogie. I've lost words. I don't even know. What an incredible song. I do love that a lot, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
So we were talking in the break a little bit about the differences between, there's that Stax record sort of traditional soul music sound, but then it's developed into this more modern sound as well. There's so many incredible artists. Are there modern soul musicians that you guys are into?
I mean, Michael Kiwanuki, he's an acoustic guy, probably based on Bill Withers. I think he's great.
Yeah, right.
An Englishman, young fella. Not heard the records?
I don't know.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah, right.
He's the front man, and he's got a really cooking little band. Good songs.
Yeah, great. That's very. I was thinking of Sharon Jones as well. Sharon Jones is a little bit of
big influence,
reminiscent. Yeah. These questions are leading as well. I should have held up a card or something. No, but it's very cool. We were also talking about the differences in Frasier's style as well. So you were listening not so much to the Stax big bands, more of the solo female singers growing up as well.
I didn't get into that till later. I was saying, when I was younger, I was listening to Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday, and then I was a teenager in the 80s, so it was Whitney Houston for me. But then by the 90s, you know, I was listening to Tracy Chapman and I've gone blank, but it doesn't matter. Very diverse.
Yeah, absolutely. But all those really, really powerful solo female singers
Aretha
just provided Aretha's an obvious one. But and you guys, so the band has become sort of a tongue-in-cheek trope of that era where there's the synchronized dancing as well. There's some of that we were talking about. Tell me a little bit about some of the moves that I might need to learn if I want to come along.
Oh, Frisia will teach you the moves live on stage. She dances great, and Kyle's good at it too. He knows really good at it, actually.
What's the song we do where we do the dance?
Which one? No, there's lots of dancing.
Hitch It to the Horse.
Yeah.
Now, who sang that?
The incredible Johnny C.
Yeah. Hitch It to the Horse. So the last gig we had at the Botany View, that was fantastic. All these people in the audience came up and were copying my dance moves, and it was so cool.
Yeah, right.
So I'm doing all these, you know, choreographed moves, and they're all doing it in front of me, and it just felt fantastic.
Yeah, it's very, very cool, and it's such a great, great, positive, incredible energy for the Inner West. I mean, they love that cynical rock and roll, hip hop, all that young people music, but it's really great to see them actually kind of embracing some of that positive energy of older, isn't it?
Yeah, the kids love it. Mm-hmm. The old folk love it too, and they dance all night.
You can take your grandma along to the Botany View this Saturday.
Yeah.
Please do.
Please do.
Please do.
Now, Frisia, the other thing that I found interesting is that what you haven't really listed in your influences is that the music has a lot of, you can correct me on the correct technical term, but that call and response vocal line where you're basically singing along with the male as well. How do you make that sound good? How does that actually work? I don't know anything about that, and I imagine that it's a talent and skill in and of itself.
Yeah, I guess it is. And really it's just playing and practicing and sort of being in the moment. And that call and response really comes out of gospel music, and which soul obviously really co-opted.
Yeah.
Is that me?
What's happening? It's fun. But we're not trying to copy anything, and we're not trying to make fun of anything. We're standing on the shoulders of the giants that have gone before us. There's a really long history, probably 60 or 70 years old, of this stuff. And we've taken bits from here and there, and we also kind of make stuff up as we go along.
Yeah, and it is just about fun for us.
Absolutely. So the songwriting process for you guys, is it all the band together, or there's just a couple of people who get together and write the songs? How does that work? I
write in my room, and Kyle writes in his room.
Yeah, right. And then those are fused together, or you find the best ideas are just solo?
No, we tend to have these songs that have been around for a long time, most of them, or a few have been written recently. But what we do cooperate on is on the production. So Kyle's got a really strong idea of what instruments go where and how they go, and he is fantastic in giving that input into my pieces as well. And I'm more of a technical guy. I'm a sound engineer of many years and a producer of some years' experience. So somehow in that we've got the ability to make it musical, which is the big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's no plans on touring interstate at the moment. You guys are just gigging here and just going to keep getting the live set just more and more tight and honed down. And
the live set is tight.
Yeah,
it's really tight, and we know exactly what's going on with it. I think that comes out in the shows. Love to go to another state.
Love to.
We'd love to play the festivals.
Yep.
That's the big thing for us.
Shout out to the festivals. You heard it here first. Absolutely. Well, I think even up at outside of Sydney would love you as well, going to Newey or going up to the Blue Mountains. Or
yeah, we're doing the Kiama Jazz and Blues Festival, 7th of March.
Yeah, great. That would be really, really good. I would like to go to that. That sounds like it's great.
It's a good festival.
Yeah, cool, guys. Well, we might just play. We'll cut to one more song. This is, what are we going to play now?
Want to do Rude to a Point?
Rude to a Point. That's right. This is your. Tell me a little bit about the background for this, Frasier. Where were you when you were recording this song?
I was in Pete's basement. That sounds good, doesn't it?
It was fun.
It sounds like the plot for a horror film.
It is a plot for a horror film.
And that's what inspired Rude to a Point. I've got the Fever Pitch here in the studio. We are chatting about music history. We're chatting about all nerdy things relating to genres and things that we love. What else? What other things do you like? What other music or what have we not talked about? That is there punk rock in there that you guys listen to?
Kyle's a punk.
Kyle's a punk. Kyle, sorry.
Kyle, yeah, Kyle is a punk.
Kyle's a punk.
He'll appreciate that.
It's not really my... Punk isn't my bag.
It's not your wheelhouse.
No.
But we were just talking about Grace Jones there as well. I mean, Grace Jones transcends all genres pretty much, and she was such a I think Grace Jones itself is a genre, or she'd like to think so.
She's funky.
She's amazing.
She's incredible. I mean, the thing, I saw Grace Jones a couple of years ago, and this is totally off topic, but the biggest downside to Grace Jones is that she obviously employs the best musicians on the face of the earth. She gets just is so scrutinizing in her musicians, and you just know that these people are the best people in the world. You know where she puts them? As far away from you as you can possibly see, because no one takes over Grace Jones. So you're kind of there going, I know that those guys are amazing, but I can't see anything they're doing because they're pushed right to the back of the stage. But not for you guys, though, because you guys are obviously all on stage. They're up there. You're all in suits as well, very dapper.
I know, it gets hot for the poor guys. I get to wear like a summer dress or something better.
So tell me about the residency. How much longer is that going on for?
It goes until the end of time, I think, or for as long as they keep paying us.
Yeah,
whichever
absolutely.
comes first.
Absolutely.
They welcome us in. We don't know until further notice.
So, guys, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for coming into 2RRR and having a chat on Quiet Fire. Where can we find more information about the band?
feverpitch.com.au is the website. We're also on Spotify as The Fever Pitch.
Absolutely.
And Apple Music and all of those other places. And if you want to buy a CD, we've got them. We'll be at the Botany View Saturday night and we'll sell them to you.
Right. We're also on Facebook, which is the best way to keep up with any upcoming gigs if you follow us there. And we're on Instagram. But we're kind of old, so, we're Facebook people.
I'm not.
You're not old. No. Instagram. Not on Twitter. That's something we don't really do.
Do you guys want to introduce the next song, which is going to be The Preacher? We're going to close out with this. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having us.